I will say this, Colman Domingo did a fantastic job as Joe Jackson in the Michael movie. And I've known Colman since Fear of the Walking Dead. Unlike a lot of y'all, I didn't watch Euphoria. So my first exposure to Colman was Fear of the Walking Dead as Victor Strand. And I always say, like, the Euphoria character is fine. But him as Victor Strand has always been fantastic to me. And I feel like his portrayal of Joe Jackson is probably my favorite role of his after Victor Strand. I will say, though, I was a little bit worried when he was cast as Joe Jackson, because Hollywood's in this space right now where they're only casting like black Brits or black gay actors. And I knew between Joe and Katherine Jackson, they had like 10 kids. The 9 is still living, and Marlon was a twin. Marlon Jackson was a twin, and that child died, I think, in childbirth or something like that. So Joe and Katherine had 10 kids, and there was love between Joe and Katherine, and Joe was a very charismatic figure. And Colman Domingo's depiction of Joe, he was the hard-charging Joe, the money-hungry Joe, the Joe that beat Michael. Like, he was that Joe, but we didn't get the charming, nuanced Joe Jackson. If you want to see that version of Joe Jackson, go watch the Jackson Family, the Jackson American Dream miniseries with Lawrence Hilton-Jacobs. Lawrence Hilton-Jacobs is still the #1 Joe Jackson. But the beautiful thing about that film, where Angela Bassett played Katherine, is that you saw intimate moments between Joe and Katherine. And you kind of get into the psychology the way Joe is. And in the Michael film, Joe is just, he was the villain. So they paint him out as a villain, so I totally get it. It seemed like he was not sympathetic, but at the core of Joe Jackson was, he did not want his boys and his family to grow up like he did. He wanted them out of Gary, Indiana. He wanted to give them a life. And I said this all the time. You took away Ike Turner from Tina Turner. Tina Turner's still Annie Mae Bullock. You take Joe Jackson away from Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is still in Gary, Indiana. As complicated and as horrible as these guys are in their personal life, the way that they are, we wouldn't get the stars that we have today. And when you look at Michael Jackson is a very nice figure, nice, charismatic guy. Like, I keep on thinking like he's still alive, but he's not. But the thing is, Michael could be very cold. Michael learned a lot of cold business moves from his father. His father, the way he trained those boys and he got them to Motown and then took them out of Motown when things were going right and got them to CBS. Joe Jackson was a very smart guy, but he was harsh. He was a harsh dude. So Colman Domingo got the harshness down, but I don't think he was able to get the charisma down as much. And I missed the intimacy between Joe and Katherine. It's almost seemed like him and Nia Long were always on opposite ends, or Nia Long was afraid to say something to Joe. And I'm sure that was the case a lot of times. But again, you can't believe, I don't believe that Katherine didn't love Joe and Joe didn't love Katherine. And we kind of missed that. But that's what happens when you cast Colman Domingo, because Colman Domingo is a black gay man. And I've never seen him be in any male-female romantic relationships ever. The closest I can remember was on Fear, where he had a great platonic relationship with Kim Dickens. So much so, it's like, man, maybe you should put them together, because they had a great symmetry with each other on Fear. But I've never seen Colman in any type of romantic male-female relationship. So you don't get that with the movie. And I think if Antoine Fuqua would have had that, I think you would have softened Joe's character some, but maybe it was a director's choice or the writer's choice, or maybe just because Colman Domingo hasn't had male-female relationships in his work, they just said, well, it is what it is. We just play them, Joe and Katherine, they're on opposite sides. But Colman Domingo is fantastic in it, so I like his portrayal. But Hollywood, listen, shout out to my gay black male actors out there. I hope y'all get a lot of work. But when you're doing something where it's relationships, male-female, you gotta go straight black male. This is like casting Colman Domingo or Tillman that was in Severance. That's like casting him in the Jackie Robinson story. So let's say, so instead of Chadwick Boseman, we have Colman Domingo playing Jackie Robinson. Well, the basis of Jackie's movie was his love affair with Rachel. But if Colman Domingo or Tramell Tillman, who's also gay, if they're both playing Jackie Robinson, well, the whole Rachel storyline goes to hell. So listen, I love my black gay brothers getting roles, but if we're talking about seeing a black female, black male relationship, it's okay to cast black American straight males in these roles. I think they'll do fine. So please, so Colman Domingo did fine, but Hollywood got this thing now where they putting Colman in everything, and I like Colman as an actor, but you know, spread the wealth a bit. And overall, I really love the movie, man. I can't get enough of it. I might go back and see it again. I might hit a matinee one day and see it again. It's just that good of a film. And the critics who was trying to kill that film, I don't know what y'all expected. I don't know what y'all wanted. I know y'all wanted salacious stuff. I know y'all wanted to kill another black male in the media. Ain't gonna happen. Oh yeah, one last thing. Shout out to Antoine Fuqua as the director. When they said that he was directing the Michael movie, I trusted him. There's only really 2 black directors I trust. Ryan Coogler and Antoine Fuqua. Because I know when it comes to black males on film, I trust them. And in the hands of somebody else, they would have made Joe Jackson the second coming of Danny Glover's Mr. in Color Purple. They would have made Joe Jackson the most reviled black man ever on screen in the hands of other directors. And I'm sure, now again, I'm sure there's other directors that might have done a decent job, but when you have a black male directing other black males about a black male movie, they understand, like, we have to show this, but we're not going to make him birth of a nation. We're not going to make him the most hated person since Hannibal Lecter. We're not going to do that. Yes, Joe Jackson has warts. Joe Jackson has issues. Bobby damned if we're going to do a Color Purple situation. This is not going to be an Alice Walker situation where black men are totally terrible. Like, we're not going to do that. And thank you, Antoine Fuqua, for showcasing the warts of Joe Jackson, but not making him the most horrible black man ever in cinema. So thank you for that, sir. Thank you, Colman Domingo. Thank you, Michael Jackson.